Hello everyone, welcome back to another episode of the VA Hunting Bros. Lowell and I are here today. It's a rainy day in late February, and I'm not sure what all we're going to talk about today, but Lowell, welcome to the podcast.
Well, thank you, Eldon. Thank you, Eldon. It's good to be here.
Try not to nod so much you bopped your mic.
I wasn't sure which podcast we were on, but it's always good to be wherever you tell us we're on.
Yeah, so what were we going to talk about? You thought maybe we should record a podcast episode.
I thought we were going to record the other podcast, but that's good.
I was just kidding, actually. We can start over.
No, that's fine. Let's go with it. It's about as rainy and dreary a day as you're going to find in late February.
In Virginia.
Yeah, mid-30s.
Muddy as all get out.
Yes, it has been.
Yeah.
Had a little bit of winter the last while. So you've been able to get out and do some scouting and stuff?
I haven't done anything, hardly. I mean, walked through a couple of woodses?
Yeah, woodses.
A couple of weeks ago, but
yeah,
haven't done a lot recently.
I've done some more a couple of weeks ago than I have the last couple of weeks because we actually had some snow and ice and stuff, muck.
Yeah.
And we're without power for a while and various things like that.
Yeah.
But I think I've found some good things.
I guess we hiked together down that one place.
That one place, which shall remain nameless.
Yeah.
We wouldn't want Steven to know about it in case he ever listens to this thing, which
he
shouldn't.
He shouldn't. That would be unfair.
Yeah. So I found a couple of beds on a couple of points and some rubs and so forth. Access is tricky.
Yeah.
Probably a good spot to check out later on. As the cool thing about this time of the year is you can see a lot. All the rubs are still very obvious. A lot of the scrapes are still pretty obvious too. You can kind of find them.
What's that third rut coming around, I guess?
Okay.
No.
But they're, made kind of after leaf fall, and so you can still see them. So
yeah.
I think a lot of the sign is fairly relative to other times of the year.
Yeah,
it's easy to see. Plus, you can see terrain features a little better now.
Yeah, it's when there's no leaves
off of the trees. So, yeah, good time. I've sort of been keeping my eyes out for sheds, but I haven't found any. I've been more scouting than shed hunting.
Yeah, yeah.
Taken a few rambles with sheds in mind, too, and haven't bumped across any. I'm just a terrible shed hunter.
Well, if you have low numbers of bucks and a lot of acreage, it's just harder to find sheds.
I guess, and if you have low expectations,
I don't know.
Then
I've seen some people shed hunt in Iowa, and it's a different.
That's true.
Kind of ball game.
And if you're dealing with narrower strips of timber, relating to fields, hitting some of those buffer strips probably are a lot more of a shed-rich environment.
Yep.
So, yeah, I think we should keep scouting. Probably start shooting our bows some. Probably should make some changes on that end, and probably should do it sooner rather than later.
Drop weight rests, heavier arrows.
At least heavier arrows.
Something. Yeah.
Would
your buddy in PA, maybe we should go up and see him sometime.
I'm going up to see him in a couple of weeks.
Okay.
Yeah.
You want to take my bow?
I think I need a new string on my bow too, actually.
Yeah.
We've also been looking at some clothing because
hate hunting naked.
It's so cold.
Yeah. No, we generally just hunt with our standard Walmart breeches, and we have a couple other things, but
I don't think we've really fine-tuned a good system yet.
Yeah.
And I hate being bulky.
Especially when you're bow hunting.
Being thinner.
Yeah.
So looking at some camo, maybe that would be good value and maybe get the job done. Generally, we're not crazy cold around here, and even if we're out of state, like in Missouri, if it's in early November, it's usually not frigid.
I don't know. That first year, It was like 20s sometimes.
Yeah, we did have some snow.
I
and
got
such.
quite cold.
We got cold when we went to Alabama, for crying out
That's
loud.
true, but it was like the
I don't
coldest
think
time
I've
they'd have
ever been as cold as I was that
Yeah, it was
morning
like
in Alabama. It was upper
low,
teens,
low to
maybe
mid-teens,
low
maybe, yeah.
20s. Snow in the palmettos, frigid.
And that was our first time doing hanging hunts, so we'd haul our stuff in and sweat like crazy getting up the tree. Yeah,
learned a few things on that trip.
We did.
And got cold.
Yeah, that's another thing I've done some research on some platforms. Pretty sure I want to make an upgrade there, but I'm not quite sure which way to go with it yet. I like the idea of like the Predator XL or whatever, but it's really expensive.
Mission platform too. That's pretty.
Yeah,
decent.
I think Trophy Line, Mission.
Cruiser has a new platform.
The Trophy Line looked like some parts of it looked really nice, but yeah.
But the good ones are all in that 150, 160,
pushing $200, yeah.
Which is just sort of annoying because that's about what you'd pay for a tree stand.
Yeah. Even the Lone Wolf, I mean, something like that, yeah.
But hunting with cheap platforms like we did last year is kind of a pain too, so I don't know.
Well, I watched one guy talking about his platforms that he'd been trying and he'd been using, I forget what kind, but it was just flat, straight out from the tree. He said he'd been hunting that one for 3 years and ended up with some foot problems because of leaning on it like that. So he said it's really important to have one that'll kind of cock down, let you put your foot flat on it.
I think that would probably be better. And ours aren't as quiet as I would like.
Yeah. I think we could do some things and make them better.
Yeah, I'm sure we could.
But they're just the nature of how they're built. It's tubing and wire mesh. It's just a louder
I'd like to
material.
I'll probably keep running my sticks, but I really think I need to get at least an 8er on the first one or something with their short sticks. And I'm just not getting as high as I think I should get. Not that I don't like hunting super high, but I did get picked off a little bit last year and I didn't like it.
Yeah.
So I either need to do a better job of picking trees or...
I'd like to get one more stick high or just have the ability to go one stick higher too.
You're running 3.
I only have 3. They're long
Hawk heliums.
But yeah.
So we'll maybe upgrade our bow stuff, at least get tune-ups and new strings or whatever. And probably a heavier arrow setup would not be all bad.
Yeah.
Platforms, we got the saddles, we're good on that. Probably should add a couple more trail cameras to our arsenal. It's probably my turn to buy those. You bought the last 2. Yeah, I think if we could run a couple more, it might be good. Especially just popping them in somewhere in October and letting them run until the batteries die.
Yeah.
I think you can learn a lot by doing that for the following year. I'd really like to get another cell camera too. I really think they could be a good learning tool for...
It's so funny. You weren't against it necessarily. I guess
They're so bloody expensive.
Yeah, that's the thing we're always bumping up against.
But I just think you could learn a lot. Just watch how weather systems affect deer. I'm curious about that.
Yeah.
Time of the rut. Do cold fronts in October really get deer up and moving? I think you could learn some things like that. Plus, this is the intrusion factor. If you could monitor a couple of key areas and then, pop in when the time is right, I think it could be a good thing.
Yep.
It would be annoying if we go out of state, leave our cell cameras running, and then we're seeing a lot of stuff we wish we were hunting back here.
Yeah.
Good old VA.
The first time we went to Missouri, I think it's the first time we came back and there was a good buck or two that had been on the camera up the road, but it was night, so.
No, there's one daylight picture too.
Was there?
Yeah,
okay.
I think was he a 10?
Yeah, maybe it was. It was like a morning picture or something.
Decent 10.
I forget.
Not huge, but
yeah.
Nice.
Well, for around here, you get anything over 8 points, and It's a
8
trophy.
points is relative, I hate
Yeah.
when people, you got an 8 point.
Yeah, I
No,
know. It's just we
it's-
don't see much that gets above an 8 point around here.
Yeah. But my point is you can have an 8-pointer that's bigger than a 12-point.
Yeah, like
But a
your
lot of
8-pointer is
people-
bigger than a lot of people's 12 or 14 pointers.
Yeah, I guess. Anyway,
Yeah.
it's more about. Anyway, why do we get off on that tangent?
It's more
So,
about score. We were
We
talking
talked about
score.
equipment, scouting. We need to do more scouting. I've hit up one piece of public land. I want to do 2 more in a couple of weekends, maybe. I have ambitions to do that, scouting, shed hunting. And then I'd like to get over to that other piece that we hunted 2 years ago and never got back to,
Okay.
west of here. And I really like to scout that.
I'm confused, but it's all right.
It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
So I'd like to do that. Scouting, I've kind of got our hunt club place. I've done a lot of the scouting that I wanted to do.
Yeah.
I would like to do that shed hunting loop that we've
done
actually
the last couple of
found
years.
some sheds that
Yeah.
one year. I'd like to do that again, but we could probably wait till the end of March. Maybe when you get back from your trip.
If I
you
do
go.
that. Yeah.
So you've been looking out west and possibly thinking about doing an early September trip to either North Dakota or Nebraska.
Or both, because, I'm an overachiever, so I'm going to
You're
shoot
going to whack
2 deer.
one, hop up, shoot the other one, all in a 5-day
When I think
period.
about it that way, it's like I should probably just pick one and stick with it.
So anyway, we were hoping that we'd get you out to Nebraska where you could scout some stuff in Missouri as you pass through.
Yeah,
So we dropped a bunch of pins.
Well, there's a bunch of new stuff to look at in Missouri that we haven't hunted. It's not terribly.
Yeah, we're always pushed for time
Mm-hmm.
because it's that quandary. It's the first part of November. Prioritizing jumping to new pieces, or do you scout and hunt the stuff you know a little bit better?
Yeah.
So if you could, I just think a couple of days this time of the year, I think could really pay off for me in Missouri.
No, for both of us.
Exactly.
I don't know. It's just hard to even think about. Well, you can look at stuff on Onyx, but then you get there in person, it's just a different. You can see things better.
Yeah, and
I
even
guess.
just driving the roads and just kind of getting a feel for terrain and how stuff is, then you can even come back with that knowledge, and it kind of helps you read the maps better because you know what it means.
Yeah. I don't know. That trip is still a little bit up in the air this spring here, but got some mechanical issues on the vehicle I was going to take, so we'll see if we can figure something out there. I'd still like to do it.
Yeah, those things would all of those things we mentioned, I feel like would help us be more effective this fall. I still listen to a lot of podcasts and trying to learn. And I think about deer every day and wonder if I'm normal or not.
Well, everybody's a special fruitcake, so
I guess deer are my fruitcake issue.
Yeah. No.
Trying to do some habitat work around the farm, cut some trees down, have done some burning.
Yeah.
And if it ever quit raining, I'd like to do some more.
Yeah, it could. Actually, it sort of quit now, but still ways till it dries out.
Working on some bedding areas and such right now. Food plots, we generally don't, since we farm here and have soybeans, we generally don't worry about summer food plots. We try to put fall plots in for when the beans lose their stuff.
That's something we should do a little better about this year. We were a little late last year.
Yeah, I think
much of my problem as anybody's.
Yeah, so I don't know. Those are the things we're thinking about in regards to this hunting season, which is a mere 8.5 months away.
Yeah, I don't know. It's good to think about these things now because you get to August, September, and it's just around the corner. And well, if you're trying to find a tree stand platform, they'll all be sold out and shipping in 8 weeks.
Yep.
It's not a good time to make some last minute changes on your bow setup.
Yep. I'd like to find places that I'm interested to hunt or that I feel like I found this time of the year. And then I'm going to pop into those places really aggressively in end of September and October. Really aggressively? I'll just walk in.
Yeah.
But I mean, like maybe do stuff I wouldn't have ordinarily done. But I'd love to find, okay, here's a place I think a buck's hanging out. Pop in there to the fringes, see if there are rubs in there. If there are rubs in there, you know they're fresh.
Yeah.
And then concentrate on those. Like, have 8-10 areas like that. Check them all out, take a day or two or whatever, and then go back and systematically hunt the ones you feel like there's a buck hanging out on.
Makes sense to me.
I just think that could really help prioritize that late October time period.
Yeah.
Scrapes, edges of thick stuff.
Yep.
That's what I don't know.
That's what everybody says. I mean, everybody I'm listening to, scrapes and in particular, just a real thing to key in on that.
But the cool thing is, if you find something fresh, 25th of September or the 8th of October, you know it's made within the last couple of weeks. You know there's something there.
Yeah.
If you go into November, it can be a little, then you have the rut and things are a little less predictable. And it's harder to unpack. Like, okay, now it could be a month or 7-8 weeks old, and it's hard to pinpoint deer a little bit more, I think. Of course, you have tracks, and I want to get better at interpreting things like that, but that's my strategy for this fall. So, if you'd have a magic wand to wave over Virginia's regulations, season dates, what would you do?
I don't know. Archery
things.
always is open first weekend in October.
Mm-hmm.
I love
year
the
it's
idea
the third or the fourth,
something like that probably. I've liked the idea of a earlier season, but I mean for us in particular, I'm not sure if it would work. I mean, it'd have to be 1st of September for it to make a huge difference.
So we should the whole state should probably not.
Well,
hunt
if we
because
can't
hunt.
Exactly.
No, I definitely want an early September opener.
Yeah.
There's no reason we can't have it. North Carolina has early September opener. Maryland has an early September opener. Some parts of South Carolina open the end of August. West Virginia, I think they open them like the 20th of September.
I'm curious what
all the states around us
went
open.
into the decision to start.
We open about as late as Alabama.
Yeah.
And Alabama opens late. They open the 15th I think they opened a little earlier this last year.
Yeah. I wonder why they
Kentucky
chose.
opens the 1st of September.
Yeah.
Missouri opens the 15th.
If nothing else, it'd be fun to get on some summer pattern deer.
Yeah.
And,
I don't know.
Early.
Seems like you could at least bump it up a couple of weeks.
Yeah.
And I wouldn't think it'd screw anything up too badly.
Yeah.
And there's really no reason to end the 6th. So here's a problem. Well, it's not a problem depending on who you are. So we currently have a 6 to 7 week rifle season.
Yeah.
In this county. To our west, they have a 4-week. Used to be a 2-week. So that's a pretty long rifle season. A lot of deer get killed during that time, which, isn't all bad.
Yeah.
But I don't know if you could have a longer archery season. We have a muzzleloader season the first 2 weeks of November that a lot of other states don't have.
Yeah, that's true.
Muzzleloader season is a really good time. If you could go bow archery season into like the 2nd week of November, and then have a muzzleloader season, and then have your rifle season start the 1st of December.
That could
I know it'll never happen, but
yeah,
I think
if you were making up the rules yourself, yeah. Yeah, huh. I hadn't really thought about all that.
Well, if you just kind of get that rifle season a little bit outside of the rut.
Basically, our main rut right there at the beginning of November. I mean, I guess it's our main rut. A lot of that you can hunt with muzzleloader, and I think that leads to a lot of
Yeah,
deer getting
and
killed.
it'll be, I haven't looked. There's probably a way to figure it out. But I'm curious how things are going to be this year because we have,
Does it
okay,
line
so
up a little
archery
weird?
season probably opened the 2nd of October.
Okay.
And then, so the first Saturday in November is the 6th. Last year, muzzleloader season opened on Halloween.
Huh.
Are
Yeah,
they
so
going
do they go
to
with the
are they
last
going to go with the
Saturday?
30th of October? My guess is they probably will. And then that would put rifle season open up on the 13th.
Huh.
However, if
they'd go the other way.
if they go the other way, it'd be kind of cool to have muzzleloader season opening on the 6th.
Yeah.
And rifle season opening on the 20th. I mean, cool from our point of view.
Yeah. Yeah.
But
Interesting.
it is what it is.
And then there's always dog hunting.
Yep.
But
a lot of people like to run dogs. It's a rich tradition from our point east,
yeah.
pretty much. And it's a controversial thing. A lot of people really like it. A lot
That can
of
only
people
happen
really don't
in
like it.
rifle season.
I don't think a lot of people. It's not the act of dog hunting that people don't like. Well, some people probably don't like, but it's more the trespass issue is a big deal.
Yeah.
With people abusing the system and either dropping dogs places they shouldn't or not being as I get it. Dogs can't read, but people can.
Yeah.
And I think,
well, especially with them using fancy GPS systems, they should be able to
probably need
catch
to
dogs,
really
cut them off.
Really concentrate on running them only on bigger blocks.
Yeah.
And
maybe later in the season would be nice too.
Later in the season. Oh yeah, dogs. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, there again from our point of view.
Exactly. I know.
So it's a big deal. I don't know what the department's ever going to do because one thing I'm curious about if you would do something drastic and limit it or make acreage requirements or something like that, it's going to really, is that going to affect harvest numbers, especially east of here where you have a lot of pine plantations and limited ways to hunt it.
Like you almost do want to keep the population in check.
Yeah, I mean so somehow you got to work on that. Do you do it by like we talked about, making archery season open earlier?
Yeah.
Because some of those counties, I don't know, it's like, I looked at the numbers. I think it's over 50% of the deer are killed with dogs. And might be higher.
That's pretty substantial.
They actually have some good numbers on that now because of harvest or check-in data.
Yeah,
one of the questions is if you're
was this killed with dogs?
Killed behind dogs.
Behind dogs, yeah. No,
in front of dogs.
In front of dogs.
Yeah, when you got deer running dogs, and that's just...
You need to shoot those deer.
Get them out of the gene pool.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, things that are on our minds.
Yeah. It's an interesting time of year for hunters.
And turkey season's coming up.
Yeah,
I'm not the world's biggest turkey hunter either, but...
You're a lot more of one than I am.
Listen to a few podcasts, and it actually opens earlier this year than some years. I think it's Youth Weekend is the 3rd and the 4th. And the opener...
That's April, right?
Yeah, and the opener for normal people is the 10th.
Huh.
So that's... Sometimes it's 17th, 18th of April.
Yeah.
So that's kind of cool.
That might actually work for us to get out a time or two
I would like for you to shoot one with your bow this year.
Yeah, I bet you would.
Or me.
Yeah.
I always figure I need to get proficient at shooting with a shotgun first.
I don't think I've ever shot one with a shotgun, so maybe I should start there.
This is an aside, and then we'll cut it off. I was listening to a podcast with a turkey biologist, and he suspects, and research, some places would prove this, that shooting gobblers, turkeys, during their spring mating season affects their, like, they're very, they have a weird structure, kind of a hierarchy.
Okay.
So it's not as simple as, like, if you shoot a gobbler, all the other gobblers will just come in and mate with the hens, and so actually there's some research that would say shooting a dominant male bird affects reproduction rates.
I see. So it could actually hurt your herd.
Yeah. So some places are talking about moving seasons a little later.
Interesting.
To try to combat that.
That'd make them a little harder to call, probably, and some things
Well,
like that.
Well, it depends. Sometimes later in the season there are less hens.
True.
Hens hanging out with the gobblers, so they can actually be easier. The thing is, toms start gobbling way before mating season actually happens, and so people get all fired up and want to hunt turkeys, and state agencies have allowed that to happen. So.
Yeah. Interesting.
That's an interesting thing. And some places turkey populations have really been declining over the last number of years. I'm sure it's no one thing, but it could be a factor.
A cumulative effect. Yeah.
So we'll see.
Very good. Well, that's like our second podcast inside of 3 months, so we'll probably do about an 8-month break here.
Probably so.
No,
maybe we'll record another one.
We'll see. So I guess if you've made it this far, thanks for listening.
Maybe we'll record one after you get back from your trip.
We should get a sponsor. That's what we should do.
Yeah.
If any of you saddle platform companies want to reach out, let us know.
Saddle platforms and hunting clothes.
Yeah.
Ha ha.
All right. Thanks for listening, and we'll talk to you again next time. See you.